got a little bit of inclement weather. So it's going to be a little bit more cross shear, a little bit more buffeting. That's a naked bike, right? Not much you can do about that. Yeah, guy. Yamaha demo rides. We'll be testing out the old MT09 today. Okay, let's see what we got here. Run. Well, there we go. Oh, sounds good. The old Japanese cable clutch here. So we got rider modes. We're in mode A, which is the most sensitive, most responsive. That's B, standard, A. The seat's very comfortable, 32-inch seat height. Yo.
We're going to go to his right.
Alright, so we got 847cc dual overhead cam, liquid cooled triple, 115 horsepower thereabouts at about 10,000 RPM, 65 foot-pounds at about 8,500 RPM. Gearbox is pretty crisp, good fueling. Yeah, good torque. So we're going to do a nice little ride through Simi Valley here. We're going to do some canyon riding. We're going to get on the highway, so we'll be able to see how the old Top Gear passing performance is. Do a little wind protection check. So let's check the lash. Lash isn't too bad. A little herky-jerky. When you roll completely off the throttle, you get a little bit of backlash in the drivetrain. Now, that can always just be the improper chain tension. The seating position's a little weird. I feel canted forward a little bit. It's as if the seat is raked up in the back. But seat's very comfortable. Neutral's very easy to find. Good fourth gear pull. Suspension is very plush, very nice, soaks up the bumps very nicely. Now I've heard that the suspension is a little underwhelming in terms of handling and cornering. The controls are pretty smooth. Clutch is very light. You get the old Casio watch digital display here, so it's a little hard to read. The numbers are tiny. It's like friggin', that's like a size 8 Calibri font. So this thing likes revs. You gotta be above 5 grand. Fifth gear, 40 miles an hour. If you try to lug this thing, you get all kinds of lash. Rear brake's pretty nice. Nice and bitey. Be taking that thing out next, the old MT07. Mirrors are very usable. You don't have to do the old chicken wing thing. There's plenty of room for visibility, which is great with standard motorcycles. So the MSRP on this bike is $89.99, so it's a $9,000 bike. For 9 grand, I think you should get a better set of clocks, whatever you want to call this thing, this display. Uh-oh. We stalled it. Well, this bike has 675 miles, it looks like, on the odometer. So we're just past break-in. We're going to do a little canyon riding here. Warm up the old tires. Tires. Simi Valley is about an hour west of Los Angeles, sort of towards Ventura, Oxnard, that area. Good pull. We'll see how this thing flicks. Flick isn't bad. Rolling on and off the throttle is pretty nice through the corners. Good throttle control with this thing. I'm surprised. I like this motor. It's a little vibey, but especially at lower RPMs. I'd classify the vibratory characteristics of this motor as chatty. It's definitely very much closer to an inline 4-cylinder than it is to a twin. But it's very torquey. It's torquey like a twin. Very smooth ride. Very, very smooth. But it's a new bike. I mean, anything's going to be smooth when it's just rolled off the showroom floor. I got some good speeds going here. 50 miles an hour. So Gearbox is very accurate, but it is got a little bit of a stretch to it. There's a little bit of compliance in the shift lever. Ooh, well, that came up quick. Holy shit. Oh, I'm gonna do highway now. Okay, here we go. Friggin' stretch the legs of the old MT09 here. Let's see what this thing will friggin' do. Not bad, we're in third gear, friggin' sitting at red line here. Pretty good, pretty good. Let's try fourth gear pull, yeah. Nice, good power. Head isn't buffeting too bad, doing 68. Click it in the sixth here. We'll see how our top gear passing power is with this car right here. So 65, 4,500 RPM. Yeah, it's a little lazy, not much happening there. Watch, full throttle. See that? Nothing. Try it again. Yeah. So we'll try fifth gear. Now we're at 5,000 RPM. That seems to be the sweet spot. Lots of drivetrain vibration. So it looks like you got to go into fourth gear to get any kind of passing power with this thing at 65-ish miles an hour. So we'll try that. It's sleepy. It's a sleepy motor at highway speeds. So this is a great urban cruiser, but it's not a highway bike. I mean, it's doing highway speeds fine, but there's going to be a lot of friggin' shifter play with this thing. You're going to be friggin' twiddling that shifter to get any passing power out of this thing on the highway. The ride is very smooth. Again, wind buffeting isn't that bad. You've got a little bit of a cowl that's created from the gas tank cover here. And then you've got the headlight assembly, which is fairly large. That bezel is just enough to kind of mitigate some of the shedding. So 75 miles an hour, 6th gear. Yeah, not a whole lot going on. Yeah, good shock attenuation over the bumps there. It's a little under damped. The damping attenuation is a little slow, I'd say. It's got a big envelope with decay. So you're going to go through a few oscillations before it damps out. Now let's try sitting up here. Buffeting's kind of what you'd expect. This would wear you out after a while, but it's a particularly windy day. You can see that it's overcast. It's got a little bit of inclement weather, so it's going to be a little bit more cross shear, a little bit more buffeting. That's a naked bike, right? Not much you can do about that. Yeah, guy. So 80 miles an hour on the MT09, and we're churning about 5,500 RPM here, right? Yep. You got a 3.7 gallon tank. You're gonna get about 43 miles per gallon average, which isn't bad. Probably 30 city, 50s highway. Gas mileage is probably a little bit better than the MT10, so if you're thinking about an MT10, that's one thing you want to consider, because that friggin' MT10's a thirsty beast. It's 5th gear right there. 4th gear, 5,500. Yeah. So shift lever is very precise, but it's a little stretchy as you go to transition between gears. It's definitely accurate. No problem hitting any of the gears. So far, no false neutral, so it's a good gearbox. Again, clutch engagement's pretty light. This dashboard is atrocious. This is the worst dashboard I've ever seen on any motorcycle. Look how small those frickin' numbers are. God damn, man. It's almost illegible. I can't read it. I mean, up here I can kind of read it, but back here, forget it. No vibe in the mirrors, very nice. Mirrors are very usable. Oh, no vibration really in the hands. The only thing I really feel is a little vibe in the feet. So I'm tippy-toed right now. Got my toes on the pegs, so there's $5,000. That's a little vibey in the feet, but not bad. You can live with it. Now check out the old brakes here. Good bite on the brakes. Yeah, real good. Alright, we'll try the old stop-down gearbox test here. Here we are, 6th gear. And brakes are very smooth. Good brake feel on the levers. Alright, here we go. This can always be a little dicey. You never know what you're going to get. The light turns green. 1, 2, 3. It is a little notchy. Little notchy. Come on, neutral. There we go. I friggin' loft a wheelie right now, but I got the friggin' highway patrol right behind me. So I'd say that the vibratory characteristics of the motor change about 4,000. Things are very smooth up until that RPM. And then it just becomes a big shaker box, big frequency generator. It is a little vibey, but again, seating position I don't really particularly care for. It's actually causing a lot of abrasion, like right under my friggin' balls. My balls are just, it's like shearing my balls, my ball sack. Yeah, pretty good flick. This thing needs a steering damper for sure because it's so wheelie happy. You don't want to go into a tank slapper. Controls are typical Japanese fare. They're fairly high quality. These little buttons are kind of a little bit notchy. They're not particularly great. Motor's very responsive off the stop. Very responsive. Good torque. Pulls good. Oh, hit the horn. Yeah, I gotta kind of keep it in fourth if you want any kind of throttle response. You can ride in fifth, but if you want to get anything out of the motor, you gotta downshift in the fourth. Get the revs up closer to 5 grand. What's going on is the seat is raked slightly forward, and then the pegs are sort of behind you. It's almost like a hybrid of standard and sport bike peg position. So it sort of rotates your hips backwards and puts a lot of stress on your nuts. Fueling is very smooth right off the stop. There really aren't any gaps in the fueling. There's a little bit of driveline lash, but that could just be the chain adjustment. For 9 grand, it's a cracking bike. You get a lot of bike for the money. Things I like: fueling, the torque of the motor, the ride's really nice, mirrors are great and usable, shifter's pretty good, braking's pretty good. Things I don't like: ergonomics. The seat is terrible. Driveline is a little lashy, but can live with it. And this dashboard is atrocious. The dashboard's really bad. I mean, come on. Hey, I always think that the dash helps you like bond with the bike because you're always staring at the stupid thing. So, I don't know. I have no idea how this would be at night. Maybe it's better when it's backlit. I guess we can switch modes here. Let's try B. So this is going to be the least responsive throttle. 32-inch seat height, and I'm 5'11", and when I stand flat-footed, I probably got maybe a ½ inch under my crotch, something like that. As far as the size of the bike, it's a little bit cramped. I think a lot of that is just perception created by the friggin' weird rake of the seat. But my arms are almost stretched out straight, so there's plenty of room. I got about a good fist worth of friggin' space between my nuts and the tank. Could fit a passenger on here, no problem. Set of bags. To keep it under 4 grand, you don't get the vibey thing going in the feet. The flick is pretty quick. It flicks pretty quickly. When you do turn in, there's a little bit of wobble. It's a little unstable when you first turn in and that tire tries to settle into the steady state turn. And so, other than that, I think if you got a steering damper, that would take care of that a little bit. That sounds pretty good. Stock exhaust. Now in California, you got to be careful about the exhaust. You cannot buy an aftermarket exhaust system. You can get friggin' pinched if you try to. Okay, let's see. Off. Oh, that was good. Yeah, so this helps a little bit with shedding some of the wind. So, it's not too bad actually. I'm sure that's why this is shaped like this, just to control some of the shedding. Yeah, they're the pipes, baby. It's nice to be able to access all the fluids. You know, it's the one downside to a sport bike. Well, that's very 1000-ish there, isn't it? Looks like we got a preload adjustment. Oh yeah, okay. Damping adjustment. Let's see if we got it on the forks. Oh yeah, okay. So we got ABS, we have traction control. Yeah, I don't know if you can see the way this is raked like this. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Nice grippy pegs. Well, chain is pretty tight. The old 3-finger roll there. It's only about an inch and a half of slop there, so bling bling. Alright.